Hello, welcome to Inside the Studio with Chris Rini. Let's see, today I think is August 8th, 2019. It's a funny date because somebody that I was really close with in college, I know is turning 40 years old today. And I got no food in there. It's wild getting older, and you have these memories of people who are, I guess, forever young in your mind. And, you look in the mirror and you see, you're losing hair and your beard's turning white. And that's okay, because I have a whole life and my memories and my experiences, which have aged me. But when you think about people you haven't seen in so long, and that they're old too now, older, that's really makes you think about yourself differently. Anyway, that was not at all how I planned to start. I wrote notes for an actual introduction. So once again, welcome to Inside the Studio with Chris Rini. Today is August 8th, 2019. And I just want to give you a heads up that I have a Patreon. It is patreon.com/Chris Rini. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, at least. And it is for people who would like to see this illustrated book that I'm working on. I post updates there, once or twice a week. And the book is, it's called The Year in Fighting 2019. And it's basically, I watch all the fights and events of 2019 in mixed martial arts. And I'm creating an anthology of everything special, relevant, noteworthy, career-worthy. And I'm trying to keep it visually dynamic. There's this idea that there are things that you recognize as iconic visual signifiers for different things, like Jordan dunking a basketball, or Babe Ruth's home run swing, or even something more anonymous like a sack in football, or the pylon in front of the goalie net when a team wins the Stanley Cup, or when soccer players get an assist and head a ball into the goal. There are these visual cues that we understand, and I feel like that doesn't necessarily exist for MMA yet. It does through photography, but there's something else that goes on in MMA. Because there's such a wide variety of physical displays. Primarily, honestly, it's the grappling and the mixture of grappling and striking where I feel like it's a whole brand new language is coming along. Beyond that, there's stunning cinematic punches and kicks and takedowns, and so this book is starting to put that together. Sometimes it'll be about the physicality of the fight itself, and sometimes it'll be about the very personal things that happen to the people in the octagon or the cage or the ring. I will include little bits of Bellator and Ryzen and ONE FC. It's UFC heavy, but I just did a Demetrius Johnson piece that I'm quite happy with. And I've been thinking, when I do other organizations, I'll even change the visual style a little bit to kind of set them apart. Anyway, okay, so I'm on Patreon. There's only one tier. It's called Pay What You Want. I do what I want. It's pretty self-explanatory. I'm really happy with the people who have joined so far. Hello, patrons. Great to see you. Not a ton of discussion yet. That's all right. It's an intimate community right now. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go train. I took a break from jiu-jitsu. If you're curious, I'm not very good. I am old. Yes, that's it. I've been taking care of my kids quite a bit lately, and lots of personal upheaval in a logistics sort of way. And I'm a very schedule-oriented person. I function better that way. Oh, hey, what's up? Kakuna Ratata. Somebody's writing. Thank you so much. Working on anything cool right now? I am illustrating a book, and I talked about it a couple minutes ago. Basically, I'm illustrating all of MMA for 2019. It is a massive undertaking. Have I seen much other art coming out of MMA Twitter, like Smokey J MMA's bad drawings? I have not seen those. I will check that out. Yes, I'm. Yes, I was answering your question. I will. Let's see. I know a couple people who do artwork in MMA, and I apologize ahead of time for the people who I've forgotten. Let's see. There is Gorilla the Bear, my friend Adam. I think he does really. He has a very hand drawn comic based style that has been evolving over the years. It used to be very, very technical and with a little glimpses of creativity. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was for the Nick Diaz versus Anderson Silva card. He combined a couple different elements of, Nick Diaz looking over his shoulder, a very classic shot of him, and then like Anderson Silva in his kind of like squat position that he is, like usually right before a bout starts, after he does the back into the cage. And he put Silva up in on the top of a roof, and Nick was down on the street, and it looked like almost a film noir scene, almost like Frank Miller when he did Sin City. That was one that that's when he really caught my eye, and as a person with who could add another layer to MMA. And he's since gone on to do work for Reebok. I think he did some Nate Diaz and Khabib shirts for them. So his Instagram and his Twitter, I believe, are Gorilla the Bear, like animal, the animal. And we've emailed a little bit. I think he's a real nice guy, and he's one of my favorite artists doing MMA work. Another classic is Jian Galang. He does he's got a real illustrative style, very very consistent. I always liked his work. It's very blocky and very manly. Most of his work you could categorize under like badass, kick ass, bitchin', awesome. That's his style. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good people drawing. There's a woman in Italy, Chiaro. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'll dig up some more of these people for you. There's a really good Brazilian caricaturist. Everybody's name is escaping me. I'm going to come back and make another video, and I'll detail everyone, and I'll put some links in the description. Thank you for asking, Kakuna. Kaukna Ratata. I'll never pronounce it right. Anyway, speaking of art, I picked up a book. It's a fictional account of my favorite artist. His name is Egon Schiele. He's an Austrian draftsman. He also painted, but I think that his drawings are really what distinguish him, and that's his major contribution to the cultural canon. He was born in 1890, and I think he died in 1918, and of Spanish flu. I think it took out his wife, and thousands across Europe. So he died at 28, tragically short life, but a unbelievably rich and vast catalog of drawings. This book focuses a lot on a short period of time where he was jailed for producing indecent work and corrupting the youth. It's pretty classic tale of an artist. Their vision does not fit with what society is comfortable with. And I believe he did draw, he drew prostitutes and younger children, and that infuriated people of the town where he was living. He also lived pretty openly with a mistress. So, living a life that people in the early 20th century definitely could not square away. So I'm excited to read it. I'm about 1 or 2 chapters in. And it's amazing when you get to a certain age, you got small kids like I do, setting aside time to read. I feel a little guilty. I feel like I should be working, or I should be cooking dinner, or I should be, I don't know, exercising, Speaking of which, I got to cut this short soon. I got to go to jiu-jitsu, and it's been really nice to go back there and see everyone. I definitely felt bad for falling off the face of the earth, and that's life, right? And I wanted to share one funny thing that I saw. I was coming home the other day on my bike, and this Jeep was driving towards me on the opposite side of the road, coming towards me, and it's got these huge, extra wide tires. It was a white Jeep, and they had a 6 or 7 foot flagpole, poking out the back with a giant American flag. And this guy, probably in his mid-20s, was blasting Bob Marley. And I just thought, you might be a loser, bud, or you must be covering. What are you covering up? Anyway, it was a great visual. It was like a overstimulation of information. It was way too much stuff. Anyway, I don't like to go past about 12 minutes. I really appreciate your time. Come over to Patreon, pay what you want. You get a lot of art. You get a lot of behind the scenes look at my artwork, mid-progress, which on a personal level, I feel is the most interesting. Seeing things as they go along, they kind of transform, and you see the building blocks of how things come to be. That's always what interested me, so I'm happy to share it. If there's anything you'd like to see, fights you think belong in the book, please let me know. I like to know what people think. I don't share every single thing that I do there. And I'm going to cut it short now. Listen, take care of yourself. Enjoy the fights. I think Schevchenko is going to take it. I think Vicente Luque is going to beat Mike Perry. But I love drawing Mike Perry, so I need him to be successful. And take care of yourself. I'll talk to you next week.